This is Fountain Pendulum. Thank you for watching. Today I'm going to be talking about the Pacific Northwest Portland Pen Show, which I was in attendance at last weekend. And this was my first time at this particular pen show. And my understanding is it had been 15 years since this pen show was hosted. So it's really great to see that it's had a comeback. I think they did an absolutely excellent job hosting this pen show. It was delightful and different from another pen show that I had been to in very good ways. As always with any pen show and the venue and organization and so on, there's always things to be improved upon, but it was an absolute delight. From the venue being very beautiful, very accommodating, very well organized, the ease of parking, the array of vendors and excellent attendance of Meisters. They had a nice selection of new and used pens, including some vintage. The atmosphere was very comfortable. It was spacious. They had a lot of things going for it, and I'll go into some more details about some of the really great things that they were able to accomplish at that pen show, and a few unique things I would add as well. But I'm going to start by talking about some of the highlights of the experience of the pen show for myself. So, first of all, this was the first pen show that PENdulum was able to be a vendor at, which was very cool. So we actually had our handmade wood desk accessories available, and that was really awesome to be able to have those available and kind of have some feedback from people and have the excitement of it all and network and honestly that was the best part, was being able to meet so many people, which I think as a vendor I was more disposed to. And the connections that were made there were just phenomenal, from just regular customers just chatting and sharing enthusiasm for our fountain pen delights to meeting other vendors as well. And I think just the connections that were made there were so much fun. So, um, having been to a pen show before, but just as, I guess, a participant, it was a totally different vibe being a vendor. And I think part of that was just that this pen show was, I guess, a little bit on the smaller scale, and so there was more opportunity to chat with people. But yeah, it was terrific. So here is, a clip of the run through of the actual show and the venue and some of the people that I was able to bump into. So you might have noticed there, Matthew Chen was there, and he's a fantastic Meister. This was my first time being able to utilize his services, and I was very impressed with his abilities. One of my favorite things was that he actually had there at his setup, which I must say, so very organized. I love the way that he has day of sign up uh, for the work being done. So you actually go and sign up the day of instead of making an appointment ahead of time. And they like text you when it's your turn. It's very cool. I like it. But I was able to sit down and have a lovely conversation with the associate working with him, which happened to be his mother, and try out all of these pens that he has personally ground in various styles. And he has some very unique ones. I should have taken a picture of the page that I had tested them all out on. That would have been a good idea. But here are the pens and the custom grinds, and it was really cool to be able to try out his work before actually having him work on my nibs, but also just trying a lot of different grinds that I'd never tried before. But I got some great work done. I'll be doing videos on those custom grinds I had done in the future, but I absolutely love the work that he did. And I was also able to um, see Noonan Pens there, and Carolina Pen Company with Jonathan Brooks, and also Karis Pen Co was there, and I got to check out their Vertex pen, which you can actually, it's a snap cap, super comfortable, but you can actually get like a titanium nib in there, so I think that's super sweet. Very, very good design, that pen. I think very much a style that I enjoy with the snap cap. There's like no threads or no step ups, or a very smooth step up transition anyway. And I love me a titanium nib. So that was very cool. And then also I got to check out Urushi by Ian, and he's from Seattle, Washington. Really cool Urushi designs. He'll take custom commissions also. So I'm kind of like in the back of my mind thinking about, I've been wanting to get an Urushi pen. So I'm like, yeah, maybe I should just Urushi one of my own pens. So that's kind of like in the back of my mind for something in the future. And I got to meet Morgan from Noonan Pen. And let me show you the work that he has been doing also. So he makes he's a custom pen maker from Oregon, and he turns everything by hand. And a lot of his, he does his own resin mixes and pours and stuff like that. But I think where he really shines is in his custom woodwork. So he gets some very unique and exotic woods, and he turns them himself. The finish on them are absolutely amazing, just so luminous and smooth and shiny. It feels like when you see some of these really unique exotic woods, it at first doesn't even look like wood because of how just wild and striking the wood features on it are, and the finish that's so exemplary also. So, I mean, and then also he'll use different materials for the cap. So here's a white-tailed deer antler cap with snakewood. And it's just amazingly done. So, so cool. And checking out his Instagram too, you can see some of these woods. Just, this looks like poured resin. It's so gorgeous. Only better because it's wood. And there's something about nature that cannot be duplicated. You cannot pour a resin that looks anything like this wood. It's so profound. So love his work. I look forward to I got one of his resin pens, but I look forward to get one of his wood pens in the future very much. But I think I'd like to do a custom order. I think that's just a unique thing to be able to do when they have these handmade, hand-turned pens. So yeah, check out his Instagram account and his awesome work, something you might be interested in. And also I got to check out the new UMAS, which I have feelings and I just don't know what to say or think about it. But I did sit down and check out the pens, and they have the Ogive models right now. And my understanding is that by the end of the year, we can anticipate Paragon being out, which is more of my preferred style. So, interesting. Now, they're doing 18K nibs, and my understanding is that these are new old stock of the actual original UMAS nibs. And I've always been on the lookout for like a 14K nib for the flexibility. And I asked, like, do you have any 14K? And he's like, nope, just 18. But he's like, you're looking for flex, aren't you? I was like, yes, I am. So he showed me a pen. I sat down. It was the 18K fine. Here's a picture of the writing I did with that pen. I cannot believe the softness, the flexibility from that standard. Like, it's not marketed or made to be necessarily flexible, but it is. It was an absolute joy to write with. So yeah, I kind of had like a pullback in my mind because I have a follower that I've corresponded with that is kind of leery. That's probably a gentle word to use, but you know who you are, about the new OMOS. And so I didn't want to do anything swift without doing my own research first. And, you know, I always kind of like the idea of getting the original OMOS pen. So I'm kind of not sure, but it was interesting. I got this business card, and after the fact, it says, you know, Frank President. So I'm kind of like, oh, was I talking to the president of the new OMOS? Oh, well, you just never know. So anyway, that was cool. And also, while I was, you know, working the table for the fountain pendulum woodwork station there, I had the pleasure of meeting Mark from RickShaw and his son Spencer, and that was very cool. I've gotten custom orders from RickShaw before, and am so impressed with their quality of work, and it's just phenomenal. And I actually had my RickShaw with me when I was seeing Matthew, um my bag with me, so I was like pulling my pens out of my RickShaw and you know, representing on that end, I guess. That was kind of cool. But so anyway, yeah, it was cool to meet Mark and his son, and I was actually able to get one of these octopus sleeves from Mark, which was very kind of him. We kind of did an exchange on products, and my Pilot Vanishing Point fits really well in there, which is awesome. It kind of makes me think of like the ink that was squirt out of the octopus or whatnot. So it was kind of funny to myself. But anyway, and also I've recently gotten this pen sleeve in the mail this week also. So I did make a singular purchase, which I think is very well behaved for myself. But I guess I was busy also, so that kind of. But my vendor neighbor, the table right next to me, Mike, had a bunch of used, new, and vintage fountain pens, and I was able to get this beautiful pocket pen. And I'll be featuring that on a very soon upcoming video. Um, and it's just absolutely delightful. I think it's one of the purchases that I've been most enthusiastic with. Um, so yeah, I look forward to using that and getting better acquainted, but I absolutely adore it already. So that's some of the vendors and things. I'm going to talk a little bit about the pen show itself now. So for those of you who have interest in going to the Pacific Northwest Pen Show, it was this year, you know, hosted on in July, and it was over the weekend, so it was a 2-day pen show, and I think that was, you know, a good thing. It was on July 8th and 9th, so Saturday and Sunday. So as I mentioned before, the venue was in a hotel, so very, very nice hotel, very accommodating, very visually beautiful, very spacious, and they did a great job organizing it. It's on the upstairs, so you walk up the stairs. They have several tables, kind of welcoming you, so you can check in, and you're able to pre-purchase tickets online or at the door. So online pre-order were $25, at the door was $30, and you go in. If you had pre-ordered, which I had, they just check you in, give you a name tag, which I think is a really nice detail, by the way, as far as you write your name down and you wear this kind of badge with your name on it. And it makes it really easy to interact with people or whatnot. You have a little bit of a identification, I suppose. And I'm a visual person, so seeing someone's name versus hearing them say it, I think is very helpful. And so that was really well organized. They had lots of volunteers at the doors, and they had several rooms. And as you could have seen in the video, I'll play it again now as I talk about it. But um, two of the rooms were used for vendors, and then one room was the creative room, which you could was large and spacious and open. I wish more pen shows would utilize this because it works so well for if you've just bought a pen or some ink, you want to sit down and play with it. Like if you just got something ground and, want to check it out, you can go to this room, have somewhere to sit down with a table and play for a minute or for a long while. And also, it's a great place to kind of mingle with people and hang out and see what they bought or see what they're up to. So I really liked that. Yeah, again, it was very spacious. I think that was a great idea. And then finally, there was a room that they used in the evening after hours for kind of a networking and mingling thing. And they had hors d'oeuvres there that looked very nice. Again, another benefit of having it at the hotel because they were able to kind of cater that. And they had beverages there as well. And they actually had some live music. Now, I think this idea is terrific. It's a great way to be able to hang out and chat with people without going to another location. Not that that would be very accommodating too, but you're already there. And as soon as the pen show ends, it was from 10 to 5. So from 5 to 7 was this networking mingling session. And I think that worked really well. The only thing I would say is the room was too small. So lots of people were there. The room felt very sauna-y. And yeah, they did the best they could, I suppose, with the room that they had. But yeah, it was tight. So people ended up kind of being in the hallway a little bit, just whatnot. So glad that they have that. But maybe some modification in the future would be good. Then the vendors were set up, the two rooms for the vendors were set up very nicely so that, it wasn't squishy. You don't feel like a sardine there, which I've definitely felt at other pen shows. So I liked that they spaced things out very nicely and that they weren't overwhelmed with vendors. In fact, I think that in some of the rooms, right when you walk in, there was room for more tables. But there was also room to have empty chairs for people to sit down and catch their breath or take a little rest or whatnot, which I think was also terrific. That and having water stations throughout the venue was fantastic. I ended up bringing my water bottle, but the fact that you don't have to, that you can just get a nice glass of water throughout the day, I think is really terrific. And again, that's something that the hotel was accommodating of. So yeah, those are just some things that I think just make it such a pleasant experience instead of an exhausting one. Because if you get easily overwhelmed with lots of people around, there's lots of places to be able to relax and catch your breath. So it makes the event like a lot more it can be an easy day trip instead of something exhausting. So I think they did a wonderful job. So anyway, that's my little splurge, I suppose, on the Pacific Northwest Pen Show in Portland, Oregon, and also being kind of downtown by Old Town there. There's lots of restaurants, so it was very accommodating in that sense too. That we actually took a break between when the pen show was ending, between the networking time to go and grab some dinner. We went to like the dumpling house. It was very good. And yeah, so and same thing with parking. The hotel had their own parking there, and they have a special rate since the hotel was hosting this event. So they have valet or self park, but it's just literally across the street. So I think all in all, just very, very well organized, very convenient. And thank you guys for hosting that. And thank you to all of you also for watching this video. And check out that new video I'm going to have on my pocket pen that I acquired at the Pacific Northwest Pen Show. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.